Welcome to the Rising Consciousness Show, 20 minutes of soulful insights and powerful tools to elevate your life experience and create with higher clarity, intention, and vision. I'm Tara Antler, intuitive healer and soul coach.
And I'm King Gabriel, spiritual teacher and practitioner. And we are the co-founders of Ascension Academy of Life,
a global center for spiritual growth, intuitive healing, and soul alignment.
Get ready to blast off.
All right. I am so grateful to be here with you for another amazing high vibrational conversation where we get to harmonize our mind, our body, our emotions, and our energetic field. So life can be easy and beautiful and happy because, as you all know, we've been moving through a lot of big stuff, especially over the last 3 years. And it's such a powerful time to have this conversation about creating harmony. And I couldn't think of a better person actually to have this conversation with right now. Someone who I've known a very, very long time, many years, like I want to say close to 20 years now. And Misty Tripoli, I am so grateful that you are here, freezing your butt off in California while I'm in Mexico. We literally crossed.
Literally. Yeah.
Oh,
cold here. It's not supposed to be cold here.
Oh, exactly. She's like freezing and I'm like taking off the layers and I'm sweating. And I was like, oh my gosh.
And that's where I live. I came to the cold, but it is a nice reprieve. You know, like from the heat, it's actually kind of nice to have a little bit of like bundle up and snuggly and
the contrast, right? It's all about the contrast these days.
Yeah, love it.
So Misty is the founder and the creator of the global, is it now? It's the Global Groove or World Groove Movement, right? Because it's gone through some different name changes.
World Groove. Yeah, the World Groove Movement. Because it's just a big movement all around the world.
It is. It really is. Yeah. And, you know, I think Misty and I met so many years ago in Toronto. And then I did my groove facilitator training. And then Gabriel and I ended up living with Misty in Playa del Carmen. And so we've had all these beautiful intersecting moments. She got to meet our kiddos, even though they were like fresh off the plane, a little crabby. But she got to meet the kiddos for the first time too the other day, which was so beautiful and sacred.
It was mind-boggling because the last time I saw you, you had no children. Right. So it's like now I see you and it's like, it's the family and beautiful, such a beautiful family. It's awesome. But I literally like creep stalk you on like Instagram and Facebook. Like I watch it all. I love watching you and Gabriel. I love seeing the kids running around in the background. It's like, yeah, that's a super mom right there. It's awesome.
I was just saying to somebody too, I just finished breastfeeding like 2 months ago. I never expected to breastfeed this long, ever. And especially with twins, it's been like double time. And so finally I was like, okay, guys, like that's it. Like mama needs just a little bit of me back. Let my body and my hormones start to regulate a little bit differently now, you know? So yeah, it's been amazing.
Yeah. I said the shop is closed.
100%. 100%. And they still ask for it. Like they're like, they call it nipple boob. So they're like, can I have nipple boob? I'm like, not right now. Not right now. So let's dive in and talk about all the crazy stuff that humanity, I mean, I don't want to go into all the details of what everybody's been going through, but I definitely want to talk about the ability to move ourselves through these big states of craziness and big impact that's happened on our nervous systems and our minds and our bodies and all sorts of stuff, the energetics, and really be able to talk about how we can start to alleviate some of that, because you lead some incredible movements and classes and even facilitating love and coming back to heart. So I'm going to turn it over to you for a moment to kickstart that conversation around creating harmony, maybe within our bodies and our hearts.
Yeah, well, so much also, I think a part of what's been going on over the last couple of years has created, I think what triggers so much of our nervous system and our inner world is this uncertainty. And, you know, not knowing what's coming next and all of this. And it was really interesting. When everything started to change about 2-3 years ago, you know, and I couldn't travel anymore and my life completely changed. Our lives completely changed. And I went actually down kind of a dark road, and because my core value is freedom. And if any of my freedoms are taken away, I can't function. Like, it's my core value. I have to be free. Right. So it was like, so I instantly, my whole system went into like, almost like a rage.
Yeah.
And I saw myself getting really bogged down with, like, I was searching and researching as much information as I could. I was just like, and the stuff I was learning was just like horrific. And and I got into kind of I wouldn't say a dark place, but a down place. Like, I could tell my frequency wasn't high, my vibration was off. And what was interesting is that I had been in such a high, like such harmony and manifesting. Like, I felt like I was like superwoman, like, whatever it is I wanted, I could make it happen. And then everything just slowed down, and I wanted to blame it on everything that was happening in the world, as opposed to my inner world and what was going on. And I started to realize my financials started to drop, like relationships started, like, it just like things started to not be so smooth. And I wanted to blame it on what was outside of me. Right. And because I'm just like, we don't have no power. It's like, I don't have control of my life, and, it's someone else's fault. And And then it was really interesting. About, I would say like 9 months ago, I had a deep inner shift. It was like, I was out in the jungle, and I was out by myself, and I was just sitting, connecting with nature. And it hit me like, it's the dimension that you create for yourself. Like, I'm out there in the jungle in bliss, and I'm like, this is actually your dimension. This is like, the third dimension is happening around you, but look at where you are. Look at what you have. And it really hit me to reconnect with that high frequency and knowing. And I started getting visions of what was coming next. And, just to prepare and just to visualize whatever it is I want, dream big. I had this vision of just like, dream big, Misty, because anything is still possible. And don't let anything that's happening outside of you affect, your ability and your power to manifest and to have what you want. And I just started to go back into me, and I started to go back to my practices, because I lost sight of my practices, those things that harmonize me every day and the things that keep me. And I just went back to that, and it was amazing how quickly, like, things just turned the corner. The moment I went back in and realigned and attuned and harmonized, and was like, this is like, the money started to flow again. The goodness things just start, like the wheels were greased, things were moving and shaking. And I was like, yeah, see, this is what I know is possible. And I think the most important thing was, number one, the daily practices of what do I need to do every single day to keep my head on straight, my emotions in harmony, my body feeling good, like keeping my vibration as high as possible. What do I need to do every single day? That's my job. It's my responsibility. It's part of what I teach to people. It's like, I have these truths that I teach in the groove method, which I created, which helps people dance their own unique way and give them permission to dance their own unique way, which I think is super powerful, because I'm kind of a snob about it, but I'm like, how can you have a spiritual practice without some form of creative physical movement with your body? Because your body is your temple. Like, that is where your soul resides. That's, we've been given these beautiful meat suits to play in and be in. And I think it's a very powerful part of spiritual practice, is to be present in your body. And dancing is such a fast, powerful way, not just, moving your body temple, but when you dance, you're attuning to the creative force of the universe. You're attuning to creativity, which is a little bit different than a yoga practice. Yoga practice is amazing because it attunes you to your breath and aligns you to your consciousness and all of this, but it doesn't attune you to your creativity, which is very different. So dance is this thing that you're born to do, and we all do it. And one of my truths is that no one is going to do it for you. Like, no one's going to do it for you. Your frequency, your vibration, the way you feel is 100% your responsibility. Like, and taking responsibility. Like, no one's going to dance for you. No one's going to be happy for you. No one's going to do your practices for you. No knight in shining armor is going to come and rescue you. Like, it's really attuning and making that happen. And so it was just really cool over this last few months to see everything shift again. And we were talking before this call how, life doesn't have to be hard and the struggle. And I have a rule for my life that if something's hard, I'm not doing it. I'm not, if I get friction and tension, I'm just like, I'm too old for this shit. Like, I'm not working that hard. Sorry, ain't working that hard. Just not going to do it. And really trusting that and knowing that that's how spirit guides me, is that when things, and it doesn't mean that there's not going to be challenges, but you need challenges to grow and to develop your character. But when you get that friction of just like climbing a hard mountain, like I just jump off the mountain and go, I'm going to go lay in the lake for a while and swim around and coast down the river and see what happens, So I think that's really important for people to remember, especially with what's happening right now, is that we have to, it's great to know what's happening and educate yourself and be informed, but know that that's a dimension.
Absolutely.
That's a dimension, and you don't have to live in that dimension. We all coexist together in this third dimension. But I believe that we can live in many different dimensions simultaneously.
I totally agree with you. We were talking about this the other day in one of our classes, and I said, they were asking about different relationships and how do you, the age old question, how do I get my partner to get what I'm getting? And I'm like, you don't, you have to live you got to do you. And eventually either as your frequency changes and you move into a different dimensional space, they might too, because everybody's growing and everybody's doing their own thing. And I 100% agree with you in terms of the freedom piece too, because that was a big thing for me, like not having freedom. That is a core value for me as well. And I was like, okay, how do I create my own freedom? And it was exactly what you said, of being able to go deep within, pull up the practices like never before. I feel like having babies was like a boot camp that prepared me for this, because when all this was, I was like, well, this is like having children and this is like birthing babies. I'm like, we're just going to do this like a whole other level, and really pulling up the practices to be able to consciously create whatever reality or dimensional space that, like you were saying, that you want, that whatever the situation is, you do not have to live in that you don't like. And it does require some self-mastery, right? To be able to say, okay, so I will create change. I will create the change and movement that I want for myself. And this is why I love, I actually missed Groove so much over the last number of years. So I was like, I know she's got something online. I'm like, I got to find it. And the kids and I would start grooving with you on our TV, because just creating the movement in body creates the movement in energy and movement in mind and movement in emotions. So can you speak a little bit more to that? Because I know you've had so many years, like more than 20 years, right, Misty? Like 30 years at least in movement, right?
Yeah.
The power of movement and opening us up.
It's been like, movement has been my life. Like I literally jumped out of my mother's vagina and started dancing. Like my mom said, like your labor, she's like, labor was 3 hours. You literally, I didn't even make it into the room. Like you jumped out in the elevator, like, wow. And you just started flailing your arms and your legs and you never stopped. Like, it's just, but the thing is I've always moved and I've always danced. But what I realized 25, 30 years ago is that I was dancing to try to get something right, try to follow movement, choreograph, very structured movement, aerobics, fitness, this kind of stuff. And it wasn't until I'd had a very, very powerful spiritual awakening where I woke up to when am I going to move for me? Just what if I allowed my body to just do whatever it wanted? And so I used to put music on and go into a space, close all the windows, have my privacy, and I would put music on, and then I would surrender to the music. And I would just allow my body to do whatever it wanted. And in those moments were so profound and so powerful, the visions I received, the relief, the solutions to problems, the absolute bliss and just joy that I would feel in these moments. And I felt so authentic. I was like, this is who I am. And for some people it comes through other things, but for me it was movement. It was this is my authentic self when I actually give myself freedom. And I realized that when you give yourself permission to move your body. It's like I said, it's so powerful because it's your temple. And it was those moments of attuning to the creative force of the universe. And and moving that through your body. It's like, for me, it's medicine. It's like literally like taking a magic pill and receiving like healing on so many levels. Because even emotion, this is what's so powerful, is that emotion, if you don't express it, if you don't have some type of way to express your emotions in a creative way where you don't push them on to someone else, exactly, which we do, because they get stored up, we get frustration and we get all these like anger or resentment or jealousy or all of these emotions that we might be afraid to express because, we either don't want to be seen that way or, we're afraid to express ourselves fully.
Absolutely.
Because of what people might think of it or what it might be. And if you don't know how to constructively do it, it can be destructive. It can be destructive to your physical body, to your health, to your well-being, to your relationships, to everything. And dance is, like you said, it's energy in motion. You're moving the energy. And so when you dance and get things going and your whole body's involved, that moves this energy, this emotion that hasn't been expressed in your body. And I found many times when I teach, it's so funny because this groove that I teach isn't some spiritual practice. It's not like some airy fairy, like I don't go in there and talk about release. I don't even talk about that stuff. All I just basically is like, draw your name with your ass. Like, let's take all the spirituality, because when you're having fun and you're not thinking about the spirit and you're not looking for the spiritual part and you're just having fun moving your body like a child would, that's when the magic actually happens. And that's when, many times when I teach, it's just like, we're dancing to play that funky music and people are crying. And they're just like, what is going on with me? And they're just like, I don't even know where these tears are coming from. And it's because you're moving emotion in your body that's been stored. Just let it, just whatever emotion you're feeling, let it happen. But keep on dancing, cry through it. Just let the emotions come. And it's a great way to heal yourself, and also a beautiful vehicle for releasing those stored, yuck that's in your body, and get it moving through your system, because it will hurt you.
I agree with you. That's exactly what I was picking up on, was the stuffing and the storing of the emotions that sink down. Like we forget that our bodies are so miraculous and amazing, and they always want to keep us well. So if we're not moving those emotions, they're going to say, okay, let's just pack that over here and pack that over here and stuff this down here, until the point where it's either it will explode or we will have secondary things pop up, physically, breakdowns, all sorts of things, because that emotion, it needs to move. And so this is the thing that I've found so freeing, like talk about freedom, so freeing in being able to just move your body in a way that feels really good to you, where it's not somebody telling you to say, it has to look like this. And this is the thing that I love about the methodology that you've channeled through to the planet, is that it didn't have to look like, because I like to dance, but when I would go to these dance classes and it was like, you need to learn steps, 1 through 18. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, I just want to have fun. Like, I just want to dance, and I'm forgetting. And then the logical mind comes in, and then you're thinking that you're doing something wrong, and the whole thing is a mess. And then I remember feeling judgment on myself and being like, this was the worst dance class I have ever been in. And when I experienced groove for the first time, I was like, this is the most freeing thing ever. And you actually find yourself finding creative ways to move your body that you never would have otherwise experienced. And it's so freeing. Like so freeing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the thing that's crazy is like part of my method is, if you think about it, babies, you're a mother, babies dance before they walk. It's our most natural, and no one teaches them how to do it. That's why I think it's funny when people try to teach you how to dance. You're just learning someone else's dance. It's not your dance. And the biggest thing people need to get over, and it's exactly what you said, is the judgment of themselves, is that they actually say that the fear of embarrassment is greater than the fear of death.
Yeah,
which is wild. Like embarrassing yourself in public is greater than that. And that's why most people, as they get older, stop dancing. They just won't. In fact, it happens for kids when they start to, when the puberty start, like around 10, 11, 12, that's when, the other kids might say something. When they're younger than that, they're free. They'll just do whatever. They don't care. That's super fun. But there's a moment where things shift and we've been trained, like, you just don't look stupid. Don't embarrass yourself. Like, you got to be cool. You got to look cool. Like, don't do anything. And my number one truth that I teach is no one cares what you look like.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And if they do, it's their problem. Like, why would you alter who you are in your expression because of what someone else might? Are you living your life for everyone else, or are you living it for yourself? And I remembered every night I was like, the only person I need to impress is myself. Like, when I go to bed at night, I just need to know that I made me happy, not that I've made everybody else happy and I've satisfied everyone's thoughts and opinions about me and all of this. And so that's my number one truth, is that no one cares what you look like.
Yeah.
They're all looking at themselves anyways. Everyone's going through the same mental torture. Like, when I lead a dance class, it's the first thing I'm like, you guys have to look around. No one's looking at you. Nobody cares. Like, you've got to learn to tell yourself the truth, and you recognize it. And so I have you do it in the moment. So it's so you get it as you're walking around the room. You're like, yeah, actually, no one is looking at me. No, you're not that important. You're not that cute. Nobody cares. And like what you said, like trying to be like someone else. My second one is that there is no right or wrong way to dance. There just isn't. Like, there's no who made up the rules for dance. Like, it wasn't me, it wasn't you. And I don't follow other people's rules. Yeah. So it's like, and third is that you are unique. You should absolutely move your body in your own unique way. But it's learning to not care what people think. Know that your way is the right way. When you do it your way, it is actually the right way. And it can look ridiculous. It can be wildly crazy and whatever. But if it feels good, you nailed it. Like, that's your indicator. But it's keeping the mind quiet, the judgments, because that will take over. And I call it fear-restricted movement. Yeah, people are so afraid. That's why yoga is so popular, because it's a form, it's a structure, right? You can follow the lines. There's no choreography. Even if you're new to it, you might be uncomfortable at the beginning because you don't know the poses. But after a couple times, even basic yoga, you're being told exactly what to do. And so people like that. People like, okay, tell me what to do. And then I have an indicator of right and wrong. But with proof, that doesn't exist, because your way is actually the right way.
Exactly.
So,
it's so interesting you say that, because I remember being in many yoga classes, and I think I might have mentioned this to you. I self-taught yoga and meditation when I was 14. And so I had been doing naturally, just moving my body and from reading books about yoga at that young of an age. And so I remember going to yoga classes, and the instructors would come over, and I have hyperextension in my elbows, right? So my elbows look a little different when I'm in a downward dog. I can't tell you how many times people would come over and try to adjust me to make it fit within the parameters of the box. And I would have to say, actually, it doesn't feel good. Like, I get what you're trying to say, but that doesn't feel good to me. I've learned how to move my body in a way with the hyperextension of my elbows to do this that feels good for me. And I remember thinking to myself back then, I might have been like 19 or 20. And I remember thinking, if I ever do my yoga teacher's training, and if I ever teach a yoga class, one of the very first things that I'm going to say at the beginning of that class is, I'll guide you, I'll give you some suggestions, but I really want you to listen to you. So if we're doing something over here and your body's telling you to do this over here, I trust that you know what you need to do. And it's so, again, it's like, it comes back to that sense of freedom and trust. And something that kept coming in when you were speaking was love, self-love, right? Because again, if we have judgment, we can't have self-love and judgment in the same space, right? And so being able to move into those spaces of freedom, to let go of the judgment, you're opening back up to love. And I know that's something that comes through in a lot of your teachings.
Yeah, it's super important, because it's part of what I teach is because a lot of the people that do groove, weirdly enough, like, I believe I created this for the mainstream population, because that's why I leave the spirituality stuff out of it, because I don't need to say anything, because it'll just do its work. Like, you don't have to say it. The movement will take care of it. The magic will happen. All I have to do is give them permission. And one thing I realized, and part of why I created this, is because I realized I didn't love myself. I was like when Ruth came to me and I started to wake up, like my consciousness started to rise and I started to question things and I started to be like, what the hell? I realized I didn't really even know who I was. And I definitely didn't love myself. I was bulimic. I had been bulimic for 16 years. Like I hated my body. I'd look in the mirror and just say the most awful things to myself. And just the disappointment I had in myself that I wasn't perfect and I didn't have that perfect, model body and all of this. And I was in fitness, so I had more pressure on me. I felt like I had to have the perfect body. And it was interesting when I started to dance my way, when that started to shift and I was being told by an intuitive voice, like, you just need to go dance. Just go put the music on and dance and don't think. And I judged myself at the beginning. Like, it took me several days of practice to get past my own mental, even though I was a dancer and I can move well, like I can follow choreography, but the freedom to go to the freedom meant, like you said, I had to go into loving myself. And that was a practice and a shift. And what I realized is that loving myself was too big of a pill to swallow. Yeah. And I realized that to just all of a sudden one day go, oh, I love myself. Like, right. I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know what that felt like. I had no idea. I could say it, but I know I didn't mean it. Yeah. And that felt really ugly to me. And so what I started to do, and this is what I do with my students, is the first thing is just every day, what do I need to do today to be nice to myself? Mm-hmm. What does kindness to myself look like today? Don't go to love yet, because love is big. And if you don't believe it, then it's just wasting your time. But you do know what being nice to yourself. And if you can prove to yourself every day, like I love every morning I get up and I'm just like, so what do I need to do today to be nice to myself? What do my conversations need to sound like? What kind of foods do I need to eat? How do I want to move my body? How do I want to treat myself? If I'm going to be nice to myself today, not love myself. If I'm going to love myself, that's too big. And what I realized is that if you can start to flex that muscle of self-respect and self-care, and that you matter, and to prioritize how you feel, just by being kind to yourself, the love will just emerge. Exactly. Yeah, it just happens. So this is where, if you're out there and you're struggling with that, it's like starting with where you're at and just asking yourself today, what do I need to do today? Just for today, not even tomorrow, just for today. What do I need to do to be nice to myself? What would it look like if I were to be kind to myself today? And then do it. And then actually do it. That's the hard part, is that intuitive, and then taking action. Because like you said, your body is communicating with you all of the time. And are you listening or are you not listening? Because it will tell you, this is what you need to do to, like, looking at the food that you're putting in your body. That's not being nice to yourself today. And don't judge yourself, but make the nice choice. Like, choose kindness. Choose kindness. And then you'd be amazed at how fast. I remember the first time I looked in the mirror and I knew I loved myself, and I could actually say it to myself, and I meant it and I felt it. And I was in tears. I was like, oh my God, I love myself. Like, I finally love myself. Oh my God, it's here. Da, 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 da. Like, it was an awesome moment when I felt it authentically, instead of just trying to convince myself of it. And it's because I practiced kindness. I practiced self-care and self-respect, and that's super important to know that with, anyone out there, because, I know there's men and women out there that listen to you, and we all struggle with it, but women have a special flavor, because getting past loving our bodies is massive, like huge. Like, growing up, I didn't know one woman that loved her body. Not one. There was no example of a woman that was like, I'm the shit, look at this. Like, I look so good. Like, I just didn't know. Every woman I knew was on a diet, was like, hated her body, was struggling, and so to get past that, and this is part of the spiritual practice, is even if you can't, like, look in the mirror and go, yeah, look at me, I love my body and it's so great, because I know that is a very, very, and as we get older, like, you may get to the point where you're like, I like my shape, but oh, look, now I'm getting old. Is going into appreciation, right? Totally. Is learning to appreciate your body and be like, you know what, this is what God gave me. And I may not like all the parts of my body. That's normal. Don't think that you have to be like everything. It's perfectly imperfect. And just to go to the point where it's like, I'm going to be kind to my body. I'm not going to say mean things about my body. because getting past the body is a huge part of the spiritual process. Because if you don't love your temple and you're at war with your temple, that's going to create this friction. And so really dance is such a beautiful way to fall in love with your body and fall in love with the way that it moves and how it feels. And I like to look at it like this. When I dance, I'm making love to myself through movement. Like every little joint, like when I'm dancing, I'm like, ooh, it's like just getting it, like doing a massage from the inside out, just to music. And it's like, yeah, this is, and it's a way to make love to yourself.
Yeah.
So think about it that way, that dance is just a beautiful way to make love to yourself.
No, I totally agree with you. Something that came to my awareness when you were speaking was that recently, so being that I just finished breastfeeding, the body changes, especially when you have babies. And then if you're carrying a female baby versus a male baby, like their hormones are different. And after having the twins, my body got back into shape really fast. And then the breastfeeding production started. And it was like my body just naturally, it didn't matter what I did, it was holding on to so much because it needed the fat to be able to produce the amount of volume of milk that I was producing for the boys. And I remember at one point being like, oh my God, and hitting a max out point even about a couple months ago. And in Facebook, love when they do this, they show you 12 years ago today or 14 years ago today, whatever it was, I think it was 14 years ago, I was doing my yoga teacher's training in Costa Rica. And I was probably in the best shape I had ever been in. And I really did love how I felt and how my body was at that point. But I still remember having judgment thoughts that I was big. Because in comparison to other girls, I have bigger hips and I have big, and I remember watching myself in this moment a couple months ago. And I was like, wow, I was so hard on myself back then. And in the moment, I could hear my mind creeping up today, being hard on myself again and feeling, and it brings up emotion even right now, feeling hard on myself about how my body has changed so much. And being 45 now too, there's all whole other things happening. And I was like, okay, remember how hard you were on yourself 15 years ago and you looked fantastic. Thank God I had big hips and this is what I had to do. I had to talk myself through it because I was like, I had great hips to deliver 3 babies naturally with ease, like easy delivery, no problem, no intervention. And being able to recover and be strong, to hold twins. This is what I had to do to talk myself through this because I could feel this judgment voice coming in to be really hard on this physicality. And I did exactly what you said. I was like, let me love and appreciate. I went straight to appreciation for the strength that this body has to be able to hold two. Like a lot of times I'd be holding both the twins at the same time, one on each hip and holding them and double breastfeeding. And I really had to talk myself through that space to go into gratitude for the physicality that I am, that my body knew what it needed to do to produce the amount of breast milk that I needed to for 2 and to carry these beings into the world so easily, easy pregnancy, easy delivery, like so easy. And as I started to remind myself of that, I could feel exactly what you were saying from the gratitude and the appreciation. It naturally moved into love. I naturally moved into the kindness, like being kind with my thoughts, being kind with my words, being kind. Even, the boys love that mommy's a little squishy, that they're like, she's squishy. And I have to be like, well, I'm like a little body pillow for them right now. And it's okay, and there are cycles and there are flows and it's all okay. Like I need to be where I am now and appreciate that. And knowing that it's all going to shift, everything changes too. Everything morphs. So for me to get attached as well to my body needing to look a certain way from 15 or 20 years ago to present day, that also can cause a lot of detriment to our psyche and to ourself, right?
Yep. And we can all do this. Every single person can probably look back at the old photos and go, I looked amazing. What was I thinking?
Right.
Like I look, and it's because it's like never being satisfied because this what we hold ourselves to some bizarre standard or whatever it might be, and that we're all made so differently and beautifully, and just we're supposed to be squishy. Like, you know what I mean? Like I think we are. Like, I just, like,
Yeah.
I think it's a natural thing, but getting to the point of going through your own process and going, that is me too. Like, I've never actually been satisfied or okay, and learning to find the things to appreciate, like how beautiful that your body is a rock star. Like, are you kidding me? Like, the wisdom, and that it's done exactly what it needs to do to give you these beautiful children and the strength to do it. Like, that is amazing. And so anyone out there, it's like finding the appreciation of, whatever it is, even if you haven't had children, it's just like your ability to walk and move and feel. Like, we're sensorized meat suits, if you think about it. Like, we're built for pleasure, literally built for pleasure, from what we hear to smell to taste to touch to all of it. We're built for pleasure. And so sometimes going away from the shape and the size and whatever that might be, and go into the pleasure of it. Yes. Like, feel your own skin, like, feel how delicious you actually are, and start to, if you can go into appreciation and find something to appreciate about your body, and don't expect yourself to be like, yeah, I look in the mirror and I'm super happy with it. Like, I still can't even, I still like, I'll still find that spot where I'm like, yeah, I love my body, but I really don't like that right now. But I realized that that's just nothing, and who cares? And it's just like, but at the end of the day, my body, like, it allows me to dance, and it allows me to feel, and it allows me to enjoy, and sensuality and sexuality and just music, the deliciousness that your body allows you to experience. It's powerful. So take good care of that. Like, enjoy being in your meat suit.
Absolutely.
It's a part of the spiritual practice. I really believe that it is.
Totally. And I was going to ask you, something just popped up. You've probably seen a lot of people transform even their physical health and well-being through movement as well, right? Because a lot of times people will come and they'll say, I've got this health challenge. And I could imagine that through moving the body, it releases so much energy and emotion and stored stuff that spontaneous healing, because of the natural wisdom within the body, can rise.
I mean, it's funny because as people do my method, we're in 55,000 people all around the world that do this. And I receive thousands of emails every month, people telling me their stories of transformation. And it blows my mind, from people losing up to 100 pounds going, you know what? I didn't even try. I was just dancing every day, and I started to feel good, and I started to love dancing and feel good in my body, and the weight just disappeared. Got people who are like, I went off all my pain medication, like all the pain left my body. Because the pain's was stored because of probably some mental, emotional thing. People saying literally, like, my whole life has changed. I left my husband. I started to follow my dreams. I realized I'm not living for anybody else. Like, people have just told me, like, the amazing things that happen when you start to learn to, like, celebrate yourself, like, and dance celebrates you. It's like, yeah. And I invite that on the dance floor. I'm saying, like, don't just move your body. Like, okay, figure out how your body wants to do it. Now add your personality. Now add your style. And then, like, make it, be confident about it. Like, add confidence to it and see what happens, so that you amplify what you're doing and putting more and more of your authentic voice into it, because tapping into your authenticity is powerful. And I realized before that, I didn't know who my authentic self was, because I was a different person for every single person in my life. I had a different mask for, like, this is who I am with my boyfriend. This is who I am with my coworkers. This is who I am, and I was like, where's the real Misty? Like, who is that? But I discovered that through dance, and it gave me permission. That's when I dreadlocked my hair. That's when I just started going, I'm just going to do exactly what I want to do. And I don't care what people think about it. I'm going to dance the way I want. I'm going to dress the way I want. I'm going to wear my hair the way that I want. I'm going to, and just be like, this is me, take it or leave it. I don't care what you feel like, as long as I'm smiling and feel. And this is what just this simple act, I call it getting your groove on. The simple act of just getting your groove on can literally change you at the cellular level. Like, it's powerful. And then it seeps into all the other areas of your life. Like, once you start to feel authentic on the dance floor, and you've got that confidence and that power in your body, that translates into your relationships. It translates into your work. Am I living the kind of work that I want to be doing? Am I being authentic in my work? Is this really my voice? Am I living on purpose? It's amazing. It's the wisdom that comes when you are in your authentic self, especially in your body, and not just thinking it, actually embodying it. And that's what dance does, is it allows you to actually in the moment embody, not just logically think about it and meditate about it and, try to figure it all out. No, put it in your body and have it real in the moment. And then it's a whole other level.
Yeah. And this the last thing that I want to touch on is the wisdom. You said it, the wisdom that's stored within the body. And people forget this because we've treated the body in such a way that we forget that this miraculous container is mind-blowing. Like there's so much energy, there's so much quantum space and cosmic material within us that, of course, as we start to access that and we start to move and we start to feel and we start to live our life in a completely different way, the body and the wisdom within it that's stored within it, like stardust, it just starts popping and it just starts coming out. And we have these spontaneous awarenesses and awakenings happening just because it's like the overflow.
Yeah, well, and it's so important for people to realize that it's not something that you'll have tomorrow. Like it's all inside of you right now.
Yes.
And the way that I relate to it is that whatever created me is me.
Absolutely.
Is me. You can't be separate from what created you. Like you can't. So whatever this all knowing, all powerful universe creating energy is me. It's right here. And that's why something like dance actually attunes you. And that's the thing, is it's not something, there's so many things. It's not just dance. Meditation can access it. Being in nature, you can act like there's any type of, I think, anything that actually, like nature, art, dancing, painting, singing, like any of these things are going to attune you to it. The things that you do where you lose time.
Yes.
Where you just lose yourself and you lose time. That you're at one with whatever that is. And the wisdom of the universe is right there.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
Like,
I so agree.
Your breath.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, it's not like we have to go very far. And this is what we say to people all the time. You don't have to go very far. It's all right here. So let's access it now, right here. And this is why I love the work that you do and what you brought forward onto the planet, because it really helps people access it so fast and authentically. And they don't have to travel outside of themselves. It's right here.
Yep. Yeah. And it's fast. This is the part that I love about Groove, is that it's accessible, it's logical, it's practical, it's simple, and it works. It's just, and it can, this is what I mean, like some people with their first time in a Groove class, people that are terrified of dance, like I stopped dancing when I was 10, I haven't danced. And their first class, they're just like, what just happened to me? Like,
wow.
I just saw what I was supposed to do, what I'm supposed to do about my marriage. I just realized what I need to do. Like, it's
the analytical mind only takes us so far. Like it can't figure all that out. It can, but you drive yourself bananas. But when you start to move into what we're talking about, you move into instant knowing. It's right there. And you're just allowing the space for it to pop up, literally pop up. We're making popcorn here. And so it's like watching the popcorn kernels just pop up. You apply the right amount of energy to it and it starts popping. And I believe that's what happens as you start moving in this way. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for the universal divine connections that connected us and connected me to you, and to be able to dance and be here on the planet at this time with you. I cherish you and I adore you so, so much. I love everything that you have brought forward on this planet because it's so powerful and transformative. It's been transformative for us. I got you on my phone. I've got your app on my phone. Because I was like, I'm taking Misty wherever I go, man, because, you like that freedom, the ability to just move and be so free. And whether it be for self or for joy or for release or for love or for healing or expansion or whatever it is, or just to have freaking fun, just to have fun. It's all interconnected, right? It's all interconnected.
Yep. And that should be the first step. Just wanting to have fun. Like we're supposed to enjoy our lives. I really do believe we're supposed to enjoy it.
Totally. I agree.
Like if you look around, we live in heaven. Like yes. I look at it like this, and you couldn't think up a more beautiful place than the earth. Right. Like you really couldn't. Like, and so it really is that you make a heaven or a hell based off of what's going on inside of you, and you can make and enjoy this heaven that we live on, and like enjoy it, savor it, taste it, touch it, smell it, feel it, move it, like, and just love being alive. And then life gets real delicious, which is the way I like to. I want my life to be delicious all the time. And I'm so grateful for you. And I feel the same way, that our paths have crossed, and that even no matter how much time goes by, it's just like, you're a soul sister. And I love learning from you, and you and Gabriel, like both of you. It was such a treat having you guys live with me and learn from you, and the power that you have and the people that you've helped. It's been mind. I love it when people are like, I had a reading with Tara. Oh my God, it was amazing. She's fabulous. You're a gift. You're a true gift. And together we're superpower. We're the Wonder Twins.
Right? Totally. 100%. When I saw you, I was like, oh my God, I had chills everywhere. And I wanted to smile and cry and jump up and down all at the same time, like it was such a beautiful reunion, a reunion. Yes. Yeah.
And it'll happen again when I get home.
Exactly. I can't wait.
We'll start.
Can't wait.
Wonderful.
And so what's the best place, we'll post the links as well, but what's the best place for people to find out more about the movement and start grooving their life?
Well, if you want to start with grooving your booty. And the first step is I have, like she said, I have an app, and that's called Body Groove. And so you can just Google Body Groove, and you'll find where you can dance with me at home, in your living room, in the comfort, if that's where you want to start. And also, you can just go to YouTube and type in Body Groove, and there's free videos. You can test it out, try it, see what you think. Like, just move your body a little bit. You can find me personally, Misty Tripoli, on all platforms. And then the World Groove Movement is where, and that's worldgroovemovement.com, where we have our live events. We have retreats. We've got a class finder. So if you actually want to go attend a live class, we've got teachers in 55 countries. You can find hopefully a teacher in your area. And also, if you're interested in learning how to teach it, we can educate you and teach you how to teach it, because it's super simple. So that's where you can find me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We'll make sure we post all the links. I highly recommend that you check it out, because I promise you that once you start moving the way that we've been talking, it's going to transform your life. So much can happen. And just, they say, just do it. Like, you just got to do it already.
That's what I say. Put your big girl panties on and do it.
Just do it. That's right.
Even if you're a little scared, just do it anyways.
Yeah,
just do it anyways. No one's going to do it for you. Just, you've got nothing to lose. Push play, see what happens.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me and letting me share. I love you too.
Absolutely. Love you so much. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much for joining us today on another episode of the Rising Consciousness Show. For more high vibration conversations, meditations, energy activations, and tips and tools on creating your most exceptional life, we lovingly invite you to connect with us at academyoflight.ca. The website is www.academyoflight.ca. It is time to create your heaven on earth experience, and we look forward to sharing this beautiful journey with you.
You're listening to Rising Consciousness, yeah.
Woo!
Woo!